Hi, my name's Mark, one of the pastors here at Trillium. As you notice, I wear glasses, and actually I'm very nearsighted. Well, unfortunately now, as I'm getting older, I'm nearsighted and farsighted. It's all together. And when I don't wear my glasses, life looks very blurry to me. I can't really see things in a very clear way. And we looked at a story in church on Sunday of a blind man brought to Jesus, and Jesus actually has to heal him twice. The first time, the man's eyesight is restored, but he still sees life in a very blurry way. The second time Jesus heals him, he sees life in that concise, clear way of seeing that many of you have. Now, the thing about the story of this man who's blind is there's another kind of blindness going on in the midst of it all. You see, people see this man as hexed, jinxed in life. In the ancient world, having a disability or having an illness was considered to be a manifestation of a divine disfavor. And so the community and the world that this man was a part of kind of shunned him, put him on the sideline of life. They didn't want anything much to do with him. He was more of a problem than anything else. And yet these brave people bring this man to Jesus, and Jesus heals him. And not only has he gained his eyesight back, he's also been allowed to kind of re-enter into that community living. He's no longer perceived by people as being jinxed. They see him in a new way, and a freedom's come upon him. And you know, it's interesting, we've been talking about metanoia for the last number of weeks, this new perception, this new way of seeing life. And this man not only himself literally gets new sight, but the world around him sees him in a new way. And I think about that for you and me, about the opportunity for us to see in new ways and to see people and circumstances in new ways in life. Blindness and sight is often a metaphor in spiritual, religious language. You know, for instance, John Newton wrote the lyrics to Amazing Grace, perhaps the most famous hymn of all time. And the one line goes like this: "Was blind, but now I see." And what do you think Newton's getting at? Because I know he's not blind. He saw just fine, yet there was a blindness in his life. You see, he was a slaver. He was part of that whole industry that transported people from one side of the Atlantic Ocean over to the other side into a world of slavery. I mean, he was transporting boatload after boatload of black people to live a life of slavery, and he was blind to it. And then something happened in his life, and he woke up finally to the huge injustice he was a part of, and it radically transformed his life. He saw in a new way, and he could no longer live that old pattern. What about you and me? Are we blind to things in life? I mean, think about what you might be blind to in your day-to-day living. Think about what I might be blind to. It's really hard to get our head around it because we're blind to it. It is worth thinking about, though. I was in the mall a few weeks ago, and I saw someone who sort of had the dark cloud over their life. They were going through some really hard circumstances. They had the jinx on them. And I did everything possible to be blind to that moment. I kind of tried to back out of that circumstance so that the person wouldn't notice me and I could get back into the mall and get on with my things, because I didn't have the time or the energy to deal with them. You know, Jesus leans into life. And because he leans into life, he sees a miracle. He experiences miracles. He is the conduit of miracles. You know, we are not just to embrace one another because we ought to do it or we should do it. It's because the Lord tells us that there's a miracle waiting for us in that moment if we allow it to come through us. You know, for me, I sort of shivered away from the moment, but next time I hope that in that moment I'll take advantage of it and I'll lean into it like the Lord does, and I will let my hands extend out in love, and I will allow a miracle to unfold in my midst, and the hex, the jinx, the dark cloud will disappear for that person and for me. And I think that for you and me, that's always our calling in the moment. And when you're in the store, when you see somebody with the jinx on them, well, there's an opportunity for you too. That's an opportunity that I think is going to be constantly offered to us until we finally, in the end, do the right thing.